Are you brand new to homeschooling? If you are, you're probably so excited right now, but then also maybe a little overwhelmed and a little nervous, or maybe a lot nervous and a lot overwhelmed. I know I was when I was in your shoes. Hi, I'm Christy with Homeschooling in Progress, and I want to share some tips with you to make you a more confident first-time homeschool mom. And I have found in my years of homeschooling that there are three main areas that you want to, kind of look at when you are beginning homeschooling to give yourself the confidence you need to know that you have made the right decision. That is to get yourself in the right frame of mind, to do your homework, and also to get involved. So let's go back to that first one. Getting yourself in the right frame of mind requires a few things. For one, know that, you do not have to do this alone. And the very first thing that I like to do when I am doing anything in our homeschool is to pray about it. And that is to ask God for guidance, to know that I'm doing the right thing, or to open up possibilities for me to know what, door to choose. And if you're not religious, then talk to, friends about it, or to your spouse, or to, just other people that you trust about, what do you think I should do about this? Where do you think I should go? So, you know, finding some kind of guidance is a good step to make you confident. I feel very strongly that God led us to homeschooling our children. It was not really something that we had ever really considered in the beginning. Even though I was a classroom teacher, we had kind of always assumed we'd send the kids to school. And so I really feel that we were called to do this for our kids. And it has definitely been a good decision. And so I like to pray about the choices I have to see, where God is leading us in our homeschool. The next thing to do to get into the right frame of mind is to trust in yourself. You were given these kids to raise. You are the best mom for these kids. And so trust in that and, trust in the choices that you're making. I know I love to second guess everything to death. I worry and worry and worry about this choice and that choice. But you don't need to. It's just all you're doing is wasting time. Trust in yourself. Whatever decision you make, believe that that is the right one. If later on down the line you find that it's not the right one, well, then you make an adjustment later on. But trust in the decisions that you make because you know your kids best. You are the absolute best teacher for them. And so trust in the decisions that you're making for them. Nothing is set in stone. So, if the decision you make doesn't turn out to be the best one, you can always change it later. So don't let that stifle you into not ever making a decision. And also, you'll find when you're homeschooling that everybody has an opinion about homeschooling, whether they have homeschooled themselves or not. Just ignore the naysayers. There's always going to be someone that doesn't think that homeschooling is the best option. Ignore them. You have made this decision, and it's your decision to make. You believe this is best for your kid. So don't worry about what anyone else thinks. Now, yeah, you probably should talk to your spouse about it, kind of make sure you're both on the same page. But other than that, it's really no one else's business how you school your children. And so ignore the ones that are going to be naysayers. If someone's going to constantly question everything you do, then don't talk to them about it. If they ask how it's going, just say, yep, it's great. Thanks for asking. You don't need to waste your time with people that aren't going to support you. Homeschooling is tough, and there are going to be lots of days that you question yourself. You don't need anyone else helping you along there. So just ignore them. So in those ways, you can get yourself in the right frame of mind to be able to be confident in the decision that you have made and to be a confident homeschool mom. Another way to be confident in your homeschooling is to do some homework yourself. And what I mean by that is to, talk to people who have been there. Talk to veteran homeschool moms. How did you do this? How did you do that? What did you do, with little children around? What did you do when the kids fought you and didn't want to do their work? Or how did you know what the best teaching method is? Or, any of that. Find homeschool moms who have been doing this for a little while and pick their brains. See what worked for them. See what didn't work for them. See what lessons they learned along the way. And so talk to other homeschool moms who have been there and done that. Research different teaching methods. You may find that what you start with is not what you're ending with. There are lots of different homeschool methods that you can use. And you know what? You don't have to just use one. We're more eclectic in our homeschooling. I do a little bit of Charlotte Mason here and a little bit of traditional homeschooling there, and, with some classical thrown in. So there are lots of different ways that you can homeschool your kids. It might change from kid to kid. It might change from year to year. And so, don't feel like you're stuck in just one, but definitely research them, because you may think that you have to homeschool a certain way, and there is this whole other world out there that may work a lot better for your kids and for you. And so, kind of do a little bit of research and find out the different teaching methods that are out there. And also research the curriculum that's out there. You do not have to use homeschool curriculum to teach your kids. But especially when you're brand new, it does make it a lot easier. And so, do you want to use a Catholic curriculum? If you're Catholic, that's where we started, and we still use many of those materials. Do you want to use religious materials? Do you want to use secular materials? So, mixture of all three. Do you want to use textbooks? Do you want to use, picture books and chapter books and kind of introduce concepts that way? So there are so many choices you have. Online, textbooks, so many choices you have with teaching your kids at home. And so think about, what style do you feel comfortable teaching? What do you think your kids will be receptive to for learning? And so, kind of research the curriculum that would fit those different teaching methods that you've been looking at, and, kind of go from there. But again, know that you're not set in stone there. So you can be confident in the decision you made, and know that if it doesn't work out later on, then you can always change your mind. Or maybe it works for a couple years or a couple kids, and then you change later on, and that's okay. Also, another great way to look at the curriculum is to try to attend a homeschool conference if you have one locally. Unfortunately, the homeschool conferences that are nearby for us always fall right in the middle of sports seasons for our kids, and so we don't have one close enough that I would be able to just go during the day and come home. And so unfortunately I haven't been, but I do know just from teaching in the past how nice it is to be around other people who do what you do. And so being able to talk to other homeschool parents and being able to learn from the experts and being able to see the curriculum kind of ties all of those things I just mentioned in one conference. And so if you have one that is, that you're able to go to nearby, definitely go to that, because that will definitely help you with your confidence to see all of these people homeschool and do it well and really enjoy it, and it works. But also remember to stick to, to trust in yourself, like I mentioned before, because you're not stuck with any of these choices. And then the final way that I mentioned about being confident is to get yourself involved. And that's you and your kids. Get involved in the homeschool community. When we first started homeschooling, I did not know anybody who homeschooled. Not one. Luckily, I had a friend who did know many homeschoolers, and she got us in touch with someone who was a veteran homeschool mom that I was able to talk to, and who is still wonderful to go to with ideas or questions. And she's been so welcoming with introducing me to other people in the homeschool community. And so definitely get involved in that. And you can do that locally. And so there are local homeschool groups. We have a few in our city. We have one that's just for Catholic homeschooling families, and so we belong to that, and we do, masses together and religious activities. Then there's also just, regular homeschool groups just for anybody who homeschools in the city. And so there are activities, and things that we can do for that with them. And then there are even things like homeschool groups that go on nature walks once a month. And so there are lots of opportunities to get to know different homeschoolers. And, so many homeschooling groups that you may, find that you do well with. And so look around locally for different homeschool groups. If you can't find anything locally right away, then look online. Go to homeschool groups online. Facebook has lots of homeschool groups. And so you can look there, and then you may actually find a local one through that. But definitely, you want to get yourself in a community of other homeschoolers, people that you can talk to when times get rough, or bounce questions off of, or just, have an idea of the craziness that can be your day. And so, find some kind of group online or locally. And then also, one of the best ways that we have gotten involved in our homeschool community is through co-ops and sports teams. We have done a couple of different co-ops. We've done one that was more academic, and then we've done some that are just for fun, that are more like a gym class and an art class and such. And so those are great ways for not only you as the homeschool parent to meet other people, but for your kids to meet other homeschooled kids. My kids had no idea that homeschooling even existed when we first talked about it, because everyone they knew went to school. And so it was so nice for them to get to meet other homeschooled kids and realize, oh, wow, okay, so this is a thing. This is what people do. And so co-ops are a great way to do that. It's a great way for kids to meet other kids. It's a great way for kids to have some other teachers besides you, to realize, okay, so mom's just like every other teacher that expects me to do work and turn it in. And then not only the co-ops, but also sports teams. My kids have done the local soccer homeschool teams, and they have met so many wonderful friends. My daughter has now since gone on to an actual high school that she wanted to do this year, but she still keeps those homeschool friends that she met through soccer and through our Catholic homeschool group and such. And so it's just so nice to be able to have friends that continue on with you. And my boys have done the soccer. They have done homeschool basketball teams, and they have just met so many friends through that. And so definitely look into local sports teams for homeschooling as well. It's a great way to get involved in your community. And getting involved in your community is going to give you more confidence when you see that, what you're doing is pretty much what everyone else is doing as well. And so, make sure that you get yourself in the right frame of mind. Trust your decisions. Pray about them. Make sure that you have looked into all the choices you have as a homeschool parent, with different teaching methods and different curriculum. And then also get involved and meet other homeschoolers. And if you do all of those things, then you will definitely have the confidence to be a wonderful first-time homeschool parent. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. And happy homeschooling.